Every promotion except from one championship allows water dehydration to make weight. One championship are the only ones that test your hydration levels prior to the weight or the weigh-in to make sure you are not dehydrated. They have strict rules on that. But every other promotion that I know allows weight cuts. You weigh in on a Friday morning at 9 AM. You then have till Saturday between the hours of 5 o'clock and 11 o'clock the next day to be fully replenished. That all depends on what order you are in the card. But it is massively detrimental to your performance. But why do people actually do it? Now let me get this clear. Diet weight and weight cut weight is totally different. Diet weight is your weight maybe 8 weeks prior to the fight to, I'm going to say 6 weeks. I'm going to say 2 weeks prior to the fight. 8 weeks to 2 weeks. You got that 6 weeks to cut your diet weight. And those last 2 weeks, weight cut weight, water manipulation is a lot more of the factor than diet weight. But the reason people do it at first was an advantage. It makes you stronger. It makes you bigger. It gives you that size advantage, making you think that you can punch harder and you're going to have a better chance of winning. But now, everyone does it. Everyone does it. You could have a fight, a weigh-in at 70 kilo. And the next day, I know many fighters that weigh maybe 84 kilos. That's 14 kilos within a space of 36 hours. That is massive. That is 25 pounds maybe? More than 25 pounds. That's like 30 pounds. 30 pounds overnight they've put on. That is absolutely ridiculous. And imagine if you've not cut weight. You've not done any of that. And you've weighed in at 70 kilos. The next day you're 70 kilos. But your opponent, on the other hand, they've weighed in at 70 kilos. The next day they're 84 kilos. Some people now cut weight for a little bit of safety. And that might sound a little bit weird, dehydrating yourself for safety. But it's so you don't get in the cage and you are absolutely tiny compared to your opponent. And this is different for every individual. Some people like to cut a lot more. Some people like to cut a lot less. Me personally, I don't like cutting too much weight. I would rather cut less weight and feel better the day after. My personal experience within cutting weight, I weigh in at 66 kilo. I will weigh 72 the next day. I'll put on about 6 kilo, and that's been my heaviest ever. Sometimes I've weighed 70 the next day. But I know many featherweights that will weigh 66 kilo and they will weigh 78 the next day. They put on 12 kilos overnight. And the way you really do it is manipulating your water weight. I've heard stories of people even cutting 6, 7, 8 kilo the day of the weigh-in. I never cut more than 2.5 kilos the day of the weigh-in. Ideally, I want it to 2. Under 2 kilos is my kind of go-to. That's my spot, my weight I'm aiming for. 2 kilos out of the weigh-in weight. But some people do it a little bit differently. And it's just finding that middle ground for each individual. Me personally, I don't think it should be a thing for amateurs. Not at all. Amateurs, you're there to fight and fight. Get that experience. And that's why this should not be done for amateurs. Only at your last 2 amateur fights, maybe 3, just to test out the waters of what weight category you're actually going to fight in. But for amateurs, this shouldn't happen. Amateurs should not cut weight because you want experience. Every time you do a weight cut, it knocks your battery level down. And I'm not talking about for that given day or for your fight time. I'm talking your lifetime. Every time you manipulate your water by that much, 10 kilos a piece, 5 kilos a piece, that is going to have a detrimental effect to your health. And that is my reasons for amateurs never, ever in their early days cutting massive weights. And personally, I think at the top level, this should be somehow checked within like one championship do it, because they have some sort of tracking to help with the weights. But even though they do it that way, there is still ways of bending the systems. But now it's kind of got to a stage where it's normal, and amateurs are coming to me, one fight deep, asking about weight cuts. I'm thinking, you shouldn't be weight cutting. I never weight cut for my first couple fights. Right now, I reckon I could do bantamweight, but I don't want to do bantamweight because I'd rather do featherweight, because I don't have to cut as much weight. I don't have to diet as much weight as well. But my opinion, amateurs do not cut weight. Think more experience than trying to get these weights at lower categories. If you want to make it to the big leagues, you should be able to win those fights at a little bit of a higher weight class because your ability levels. And if you can't, you're probably not ready to make the big leagues. And that is my opinion, because we're built different around these ends. And that is this video. Bish, bash, bosh, pow!